In this professionally designed cosmetic kit, we've carefully selected 30 items to meet the unique needs of modern morticians. Each component is meticulously chosen to elevate the art of cosmetizing decedents. Let's start with our innovative cream foundation line. It's not just versatile, it's vegan too, making it perfect for those seeking a natural or green disposition. We've crafted 8 foundation colors, from fair to rich brown hues, alongside 2 warmer blush colors for enhancing natural variegation. For masking discolorations, we offer 3 color correctors that include lavender, mint, and turmeric, which can be applied prior to a flawless foundation application. Worried about makeup smudging during sensitive moments with families approaching and touching their loved ones? We've got you covered with our setting spray. It locks in our cream cosmetics, ensuring they stay put for viewings and visitations. And you know what? Say goodbye to triangular sponges. Our kit includes a dynamic beauty blender for a smooth application, even in hard-to-reach areas. Our natural lip color blends seamlessly with our foundation line, offering a matte finish that suits all genders. Easily gloss it up for a more vibrant or healthy look. Our eyeshadow palette features natural skin and hair colors, ideal for restorative touch-ups and enhancing natural features. We offer a wide range of brushes, designed for comfort and convenience, ensuring your varying needs are met. And precision is key. Our eyebrow razors assist with shaving hard-to-reach hairs, reducing razor burn and facilitating dermaplaning. Tech Bond and Erin Alpha are here to save the day, offering quick drying solutions for your glue needs along with versatile restorative applications. Our metal instrument kit includes spatulas, an aneurysm hook, and sharp scissors, ideal for intricate work and hairstyling. Achieve hairstyling perfection with our parting comb, designed with a sectioning end for creating various styles and updos. And our nail board isn't just for nails. It smooths out dried tissue, essential for restorative work. And keep your brushes clean with our washcloth, also handy for testing your airbrush system. And protect casket liners and fabric with our washable makeup bid, with the dimensions designed strategically to drape over the side of a casket for those cosmetizing decedents within. And all these meticulously chosen items are neatly organized in our versatile and adjustable cosmetic case. It maintains a professional appearance that can be taken anywhere, ensuring you have everything you need to complete your cosmetic work. Hi everyone, welcome today This is the Restoration in Practice Advanced Applications of the Frigid Cosmetic Line webinar. This is actually one of my favorite ones that I've put together more recently. I think we did it once or twice at the end of last year, and we've been doing it on rotation for this year as well. This is part of our the free webinar series that I do with Frigid. I love it because it's easy information that you can apply every day into your prep room or your funeral home, and also gets you more familiar with our products, which might be different from what you're used to if you haven't explored like our new cosmetic line yet. We also have new products out there like our cauterant, which we'll go over. We also have now prep room towels, which I should add into this. I apologize, I haven't, but I have some right here. And yeah, so just some reminders to like and subscribe the Frigid Fluid YouTube channel. That way you can stay up to date with all our videos. We are trying to make this education very accessible for everyone, especially if, we know you're busy at the funeral home. You get a first call, you get a transfer you have to do, or if you've got services, you're meeting with a family. We want to make sure that you can still get this information and education at any point. Also, this webinar is approved for 1 credit hour by the Academy of Professional APFSP. Sorry, the acronym I always mess up, so I apologize. But it is approved for 1 credit hour if you sit all the way through. At the end, I do have the code that you need to put in to claim your credit hour with them when you go ahead and update your timesheet for them. And oh, an extra bonus. Anyone that watches this presentation today, we are offering a 2% discount for any online orders for all of the Frigid cosmetics. So at the end, I'll give you that code. And if you have anything that you want to try that you've seen today, get that extra 2% discount. It'll make it worth your while. And so, yeah, the way that we do this is I am presenting live to you, and behind the scenes, I've got Chris, who is monitoring the screens. He's helping me flip between the big screen and my presentation, and he is also monitoring the chat. One thing I need to remember, and I'm saying it out loud, so I do remember, is that I can hear Chris talk to me, but you guys can't hear Chris. So when you guys put messages in the chat, Chris is going to read them out loud to me, and I need to remember to repeat them so you guys know what I'm talking about, and we'll get them answered. I like to do presentations where if you've got a question as we're going through something, or a suggestion or an idea, or hey, I've seen it done this way too, could also be helpful for everyone. Go ahead and put it in the chat. Don't wait till the end, and he'll bring it up to me and we'll talk about it in the moment. We can make this very conversational and a discussion, and just very interactive. It's fun that way. So today I've got a bunch of, you can't see them right now, but I've got a bunch of fun things on my table here, including my old wax head from mortuary school, which of course I took the wax off, but have been building up some things to show you guys some technical skills. I've got different instruments and materials. I actually have cardboard, I'll show you. And so, yeah, I think we'll dive into it, Chris. Okay, so one of my biggest reasons I put together this presentation was not just to talk about restorative or reconstruction aspects, but to really talk about the materials that we have at our fingertips and how we can best use them. And so I'm going to be going through different products that I selected for Frigid's cosmetic line that I was like, hey, I use these all the time in restorative practices. I really think we should carry them and make them easily accessible for every embalmer out there, or even field director. My favorite, and this is one that I believe every prep room should have, and yes, you only need this tiny little 2-ounce bottle, is Tech Bond. So, my Tech Bond. I actually carry a bottle with me wherever I go. Where I work right now, I work in and out of several prep rooms. And so while I have gotten one for each of the prep rooms there, I also just carry one with me because sometimes it likes to walk off. This is something that you can use for so many things. even just everyday embalming cases or even unembalmed cases where maybe you need to remove a pacemaker or you've got some leakage issue or you had to remove a medical device. Maybe they had an IV line that was leaking, and rather than just wrapping it, you need to get that out, cleaned up, and wrap it, respectfully. This is essentially a chemical activator or accelerator. So it will enhance Aran Alpha, liquid super glue. So if you go to glue something, lay your liquid super glue or Aran Alpha down, spray 1 or 2 sprays of Tech Bond, it immediately hardens and dries. So I'll show you guys, but this is one that I did last time. I had ripped apart a piece of cardboard, put a layer of our Frigid prep towel down, saturated it with liquid super glue, sprayed the Tech Bond. You can't get that apart. One reason I like to bring this up is that it has definitely let me sleep better at night when I have cases where maybe I'm worried about the incision being leaky. So what I will do is I'll suture up the incision. Oop, so sorry. Hold on. I'm good. Okay. I'll suture up the incision. I'll go ahead and put down Aran Alpha, saturate it, spray my Tech Bond. I'm not worried about leaks anymore. And then I will glue a piece of prep towel over top just for dignity and just respective purposes. But I once had someone approach me and said, I've got Tech Bond in my prep room too, and I actually use it on autopsy cases. I was like, oh, for the incisions. So it's like, no, for the actual calvarium. And I was like, please tell me. And so what they did, rather than doing the screws, which I don't like the calvarium clamps anyways, I do ligature back and forth. That's how I was taught, the old fashioned way. They don't even do that. So what they do is they'll take a strip of prep towel or web roll, and they'll take a nice long strip. And what they'll do is, so all this type of pressed cotton will separate into layers. So you can go ahead, separate it into 2. So now it's nice and thin. And I'll use her for an example. If she's laying down on the table, pretend, we've got the tissue resected back. This is the calvarium. Along that cut that they made with the saw for the autopsy, they'll go ahead and lay that half sheet of the prep towel right over the incision. So pretend this is, I guess I should be using my skull. I'll use my skull instead of her. So we'll go back to him. So I'll lay this down right over where they had made that cut with their saw. I'm going to go ahead and saturate this with liquid super glue, spray it with a few sprays of the Tech Bond. It will do a little bit of snap, crackle, pop, almost like Rice Krispie cereal. You'll hear and see little bubbles. You might see a little bit of smoke. But once it is dry, you are not able to move that calvarium at all. And then it's a great base for any putty that you might use on the forehead too. So this is one trick I love. It was shared with me. I do it now. I had to try it just because I wanted to see how strong this was. And it worked beautifully. So that's one way. So again, super strong. Let me. The other way, and I apologize, I should have gone to the slide ahead, is that I can actually recreate bone. So I've already got it on him, so I'll take it off. Take it out. So on him, I simulated maybe motor vehicle trauma, maybe there's motor vehicle accident and they had some trauma where perhaps part of the eye orbital area was broken. Maybe you've got fractures, pieces of bone that might be missing. For anyone that's done that type of case in restoration, if you don't have something solid underneath that soft tissue, it's going to look odd. You really need to rebuild that structure, especially around the eye orbital area. Also be mindful, even though, these types of major restoration cases, you hope the family doesn't touch, because if you've done waxwork or anything, they might touch, and you don't want them to feel under the soft tissue jagged bone or a bone fracture. So another way that I love to use Tech Bond is I'll actually recreate bone with it. And the way that I do it, and this will sound silly, but stay with me, is I take a paper clip. So I go into the office, steal a nice looking paper clip there, and I will essentially unfold it. So I really just want the wire. Depending on the size of the bone fragment I need to make, I might leave, you know, part of like the bent area, or I might just fully undo it. So we'll pretend it's a fairly large area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my prep towel again and take a piece of it. So I'll wrap it around that area of the paper clip. Now it's important, it's key that you leave enough of the wire exposed underneath. And the reason is this. So once we've recreated this bone shape, and it doesn't have to be exact, but we just need something for structure. I need some way to anchor it into the skull or the soft tissue. Because if I just have this nice little perfect bone fragment and I go to stick it in the eye orbital area, the bones around it are too small typically to drill and wire. At this point, when you get major front facial, trauma, you need to do a lot of gluing, either with the Tech Bond. I have used a hot glue gun before as well, depending on how dry your tissue is. But the best way to do it that I found is that you can actually anchor this piece of bone that you're recreating into the soft tissue that is around already in the face. So like into their cheek, etc. So we'll go over it. But first, let's make it. So I've gone ahead, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves for this one. I will warn you, if you have liquid super glue on your fingers and you go and spray the Tech Bond, it is a chemical activator and it will sting and burn the heck out of you. So just be mindful of that. Wear gloves if you want, just be careful as well. So, grab my Aran Alpha. Again, you can use liquid super glue as well too. Just make sure that it's not gel. It needs to be liquid. So I'm going to go ahead, open that, and then I am going to fully saturate this. Okay. Once it's saturated, you can kind of shape it a little bit, but like I said, you're getting just a generic shape of the bone. Once you've done that, you're going to go ahead and spray. Maybe only once, twice, 3 times. And then give it, when you've saturated an area this large with the liquid super glue, ooh, I can feel the wire getting warm. It is going to be hot, so just be cautious of that. Wait a few seconds to touch it. And it's warm still. It probably takes about a minute or so when it's this large. And what will happen is it will get as hard as bone. So this one already is one that I had made last time. It is dry out, just to, cotton can't make that sound. It is rock hard. And the way that I anchor it, so take my little skull guy here, is often, so if it's on like the side of the eye orbital area that I need to fill in a piece of the bone, I go ahead, place it where it needs to be. And then I anchor, and I might trim this. I'll probably have I do have wire cutters with me. I'll cut this if I need to make it shorter, but I'll essentially anchor it into the soft tissue that's maybe down in the cheek. And from there, we can go ahead and do any waxing above it. You can do any silicone work if you do silicone work, whatever it might be. But now we've recreated that structure, so that even if you have the soft tissue resected, it will lay back flat and how it should be. So the shape is maintained. And then that's also extremely important because of the eye area. Typically on types of trauma where it's major front facial trauma, the eyes will be sunken. Part of the back of the eye orbital area might be broken. So they might be very sunken back. So making sure that you have the area around it to the exact level you need it to be can really help achieve a natural eye shape and appearance if you're having to then do detail work into there. So this is one trick I like to do. The other thing that you can do with this is if you have an area that, say you had a facial tumor. This is a case that I've had actually. If you've seen any of my presentations in person, I have a presentation where a gentleman had over 100 tumors I had to remove on his face. And I ran into time issues essentially, and I could not get that area of his face dry enough to do the silicone work and wax work I wanted to do. So what I did is I created a base using Tech Bond. Um, Say you've got, you know, um, a large area, you could, even use this. So you've got a large area of the face that is moist. Again, maybe it is a tumor was there that you need to remove and you just can't dry it out in time. One thing you could do is you can put down liquid super glue or the Aran Alpha, spray it with the Tech Bond because it will dry it and harden it immediately. It creates this toothy base that will then hold the wax for you. So you're able to continue your wax work and just work very quickly and efficiently. I think that's one of my biggest takeaways with this little tiny 2-ounce bottle is it just helps with efficiency, and it just helps you with quick solutions. And it's very affordable too. Yep, I guess we have a question. Do I ever use latex over wax? Is that the question, Chris? So no, because if I have a case where I would want to use latex over wax to build up, I would just skip the wax and I'd use silicone instead. I'd use silicone filler because once that dries, a family can come up to their loved one, touch them, and it does not change the shape of it. I hope that answers the question. Okay. Um, So yeah, so you can use it to create a base to then build wax off of, or silicone, etc. The other thing that I'll use it for is say you got skin slip, and of course it's on the viewing side hand. If you've still got the skin there, that kind of hangs on. I know that's a little graphic. If you go ahead and put liquid super glue down, lay the skin back where it should, spray one spray of the Tech Bond, it will hold it and seal it immediately. And you don't need to worry then about any leakage or anything. Waxing instruments. So this gets us into waxing. I was so excited when Brian approached me for building this cosmetic line because I could put things in there like waxing instruments. I think I geeked out on this only because I come from an art background, and when we got to like the major head project in school, our waxing instruments were either plastic, which broke, or they were wood, which just kind of got gross. And so when we were building this cosmetic line, I was like, hey, can we have metal ones? And then I had to present, well, why metal ones? A plethora of reasons, and only because too, I don't use them just for waxing. So so this is our waxing kit. It comes in this nice case. It's magnetic. There is a cloth over it, so because they're metal, so they don't scrape each other. And as you can see, there's a variety of different tips and ends on both sides. Some of them are actually pulled from dental dentist companies because they've been helpful with creating the correct shape for when you're actually sculpting. And then we also have in here it's a knife on one side and a palette knife on the other with a nice curved edge, which is helpful for mixing all the colors as well. I use this often in doing my live mixology class. You guys will see me use this when mixing colors for the students. So we've got some that have like a scoop edge, which is great. So if you're working on an area where you need to recreate the nose, you can easily scoop there. Or if you're creating different, folds in the face, you're able to really create and extract some of the wax that way. Some of these are also quite sharp. Let's see, where's this one? This one comes to a nice pointed end as well. And so this is all segue into, I don't use these just for waxing. I actually also use these for gluing. And the reason is because so if I'm gluing, say, an eyelid closed, if I were to go ahead and just him to the side, bring her out, I've seen many people do this. Take the little Erin Alpha to go along the line of closure and glue. You go ahead and put the eyelid together and oops, you get glue in the eyelashes. Now you can get it out with some dry hair cleaner, but it's very difficult and more than likely you're going to end up pulling out some of those eyelashes, which is unfortunate. But if you were to glue like I do, so what I'll do, especially be either like on this end or where did I just put the other one? This end right here, because it's a nice small tip. I actually go ahead and I put my glue right on the tip of it. Of course, this one's empty, but I'll simulate. I put my glue right on the tip of it. Oh, there comes out a little bit. Right there. And then because of it being nice and pointed and tiny, there's a lot of precision in where I'm going to place it. So now I can go ahead and put that glue along the line of closure and then close the eyelid. And I'm not worried about getting any glue at all into the eyelashes. Same thing if I need to glue the mouth, etc., whatever you need to do. The great thing about it being metal is that, as you can see, there's a little bit of glue caked on there. All you have to do, these are down here. All you have to do is take your dry hair cleaner, pour a little bit in the cap, and just let it rest in the cap for a little bit. You also could put some on a washcloth and wrap it around it, but usually I will just kind of place it in the prep room like this and just let it sit upright. And then it will wipe right off because it's metal. So you don't damage your instruments at all. You're able to clean them. You also, with them being metal, they are disinfected easily. So you don't need to worry about, using them from one case to another where there might be tissue gas or something. You can clean them at the end of the day with your momming instruments. You can spray them with Stop to make sure they're super disinfected and then go ahead and use them for the next case. The other thing I love about them, and I'll go back to waxing, is that the way that I teach waxing is not to carve directly into the wax, because even with using one of these. So if you were to carve directly into the wax, you create these rough edges. See how that's really rough on the edge? And now I need to go back and I either need to smooth down the edges. Maybe I need to get a brush, get one of my brushes, dip into a hair cleaner and smooth it out like this. But essentially it's creating a lot of extra work for me. So rather than teaching to carve directly into the wax, the way that I used to teach it when I had students is to get a piece of cellophane. You can use kitchen saran wrap, plastic wrap. Also, the plastic that covers pillows is fantastic because it's nice and thin. And you go ahead and put that over the wax. Okay. So I'll put this down and then I'll take my waxing instrument and then I carve into the wax with the plastic on top for the different shapes and areas I need to make. Now what happens is because the plastic is there, when the wax wants to displace and make that jagged edge, it can't because it's hitting that plastic and it's forcing it to smooth down. So when I go ahead and take this plastic off, I already have a smoother area than if I had carved into it directly. So now it makes less work for me to have to maybe smooth out with my brush. I don't need to do any more work with my finger. It's just nice and smooth. So again, the metal instruments allowed for it to glide nicely into the plastic and help with that. This poor guy is getting a lot of work. Okay. We'll jump over to the eyeshadow palette. Okay. It's funny because when I meet people at conventions and stuff, they're like, oh, an eyeshadow palette. Well, where is like the fun colors, like the blue and the green and stuff? And this is where I get to do a little bit of education as well. Our eyeshadow palette is not meant just for eyeshadow. Yep. Oh, there's a question, Chris. Yeah. Like this thing. Yes, I do. You can get these, you can find these online. There's different metal impressions. And hopefully, maybe we can supply them one day. I don't know. But you also can do, if you don't have one of those, you can again use the plastic. So make sure you put the plastic down. And you could use, the metal instruments again to make, some dots. Essentially, just do it lightly into the plastic. See if we can get closer. To make some pores. And then once you pull the plastic off, it will be fairly smoother. And then you can always, again, take your brush, dip it in dry hair cleaner and go over it once or twice just to smooth it out. But that is a great quick way to make texture if you don't have anything else. You also, say you don't have our metal instruments yet, you have a case today you're working on. As long as you've got a piece of plastic, use a pencil even to go ahead, because you're not going to get that pencil lead through the plastic to go ahead and make those dots. But again, the plastic is a great trick just to kind of smooth out and make sure that area is not just super indented, because pores aren't super deep. I hope that answers the question. Okay. Going back to eyeshadow palette, unless there's other questions. So our eyeshadow palettes were specifically chosen colors to match hair color. You obviously absolutely can use it as eyeshadow on decedents, maybe to just merely accentuate that eye area. But heavy eyeshadow on a decedent can look kind of funny just because their eyes are closed. And so everyone is different. It depends on the decedent. But the reason that this eyeshadow was included in our kit is to be used as hair touch-up and hair restoration. So we want to make sure to have all those natural hair colors going from black, dark brown, gray, dark browns, light browns, even orangish colors, as well as white. So how can it be used? Say you have a decedent where maybe they had a large bruise on their face, on the side of their cheek, or their forehead, and you need to do some heavy cosmetics to cover up that bruise and that discoloration. And by doing that, you need to go into the hairline, because if you don't, it's going to look like an awkward straight line. So say you're doing cosmetics into the hairline and you get cosmetics on the hairline, whether it is cream cosmetics from us or airbrush, you get some makeup on the hair. Now, one thing you can do is, where is it? We have in our brush kit, we have a clean mascara brush. So your first line of defense could be to dip the clean mascara brush into dry hair cleaner and comb through that hair. So this is why we include this brush, to just comb through it to try and get any of that makeup out. But say they have white hair, or a really light colored blonde hair, and you can't get all the makeup out. So your next line of defense is actually going to be to cover it with eyeshadow. And so you'll take an eyeshadow brush that matches the hair color, dip it in, and essentially just paint it over the hair. So you can do quick touch-ups that way. If you have a decedent that has a wig, this is also made for you. Everyone knows, not everyone, but if you've lived in major metropolitan areas, you might have experienced where someone comes in with a really nice fancy wig that's very expensive, and then the family wants it back and they bring you a wig for 10 bucks from the local store. And the mesh on it will be bright white and very noticeable. So you need to cover that mesh. So one way you can do it is by, using our cream cosmetic along the mesh line, and then doing a eyeshadow color over top to kind of blend it into the hair to make it less noticeable. The other time that this is great too is if someone's got a beard or a nice 5 o'clock shadow and you had to cosmetize again where the hair is, but you need to get that makeup out of the beard. Again, the mascara comb is a great way to do that with the dry hair cleaner to comb it out. But then go ahead and just use any of the eyeshadow colors over the hair to kind of mask it. It works great. The other time I use this eyeshadow palette is, even on male decedents, once you've closed the eyes, sometimes I'll just use it to make those eyelashes pop. I'll try and find whatever color is close to the eyelash color, and I'll just go ahead and paint just a little bit on, not doing eyeliner at all, but just painting it on the eyelashes will just make the eyelashes pop a little bit, which is great for just, moving the eye around the face as people are looking at them. So I do that on almost everyone. Obviously, you can use it to touch up eyebrows as well, if you need to. So yeah, all different hair colors. Black is included, and then white is included too, not only for people that have white hair, but this is an old trick. You've got someone in the casket, you're doing makeup, you had to cosmetize on the neck, and you accidentally got makeup on that white collar. Go ahead, use dry hair cleaner to try and get out best you can. Sometimes it still leaves a little bit of like a ring or a mark, and because we're trained to see it, we see it, and we're worried the family might. You can go ahead on that white collared shirt or white shirt, take some of the white eyeshadow and just use a brush to paint it over top. You won't see anything underneath. It's an old trick, so make sure that you guys have one of these on hand. So handy. Again, anything that we've included in the cosmetic kit and our restorative line, I always want to make sure that we can use in different versatile ways. It's not just this is the only thing you can use it for. I think it's good that, and I love when people share ideas with me of like, oh, I've used it for this too, and I've used it for this. I love that we can think of different ways to utilize the materials at our fingertips. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Chris wants me to remind you guys, because I think we're getting about a little more than halfway through. At the end of the webinar, we'll have that code too. If you guys you want to order an eyeshadow kit, we'll have that code for any online ordering of the cosmetics for 2% off. So we'll get that to you. Frigid cauterant. So this is one of our newer materials. We want to have a topical cauterant available for people to use if you need to quick dry out an area or bleach an area, cauterize an area. It's great for if you've got bed sores, maybe you've got some skin slip on the arm that you need to treat while you're embalming, or Maybe you've got that tumor that you removed, and while you're embalming, you want to start cauterizing and treating it. You can go ahead and use this topically. It does have phenol in it, which means it will bleach. This was a trick I learned that, you know, if you want to bleach an area, it's not just memorizing, oh, use this, this, or this. It's actually memorizing like what is in our chemicals that can help us do it. And so phenol is that special word that goes hand in hand with bleaching. So if you ever, don't have cauterant or something, but you've got Pharos on your shelf, Pharos has phenol in it, so you can go ahead and use that to bleach as well too. So just be cautious using this. If you're going to use it on the face or anything, be weary and understand that it will bleach that area. A trick that you can do, if you've got a small area on the face or on the hand that you need to cauterize, again, we'll use skin slip as an example. You've got a skin slip area on the hand, and you want to do a cauterant pack, but you don't want to stress about the bleaching because maybe you embalm them and they got perfect color intrinsically. Go ahead and grab Vaseline. Grab a little small, I always have a small tube of Vaseline on me, and put the Vaseline surrounding the area that you want to cauterize. That way, once you put your cauterant pack and some prep towel over top, and don't forget to put a piece of plastic over top to contain the fumes, it won't bleach the surrounding area. So, a little trick there for you. I want to point out too, just talking about chemicals and SDS sheets, I will admit I did not appreciate SDS sheets when I was in school. I were newly, out of mortuary school into the funeral world, and I wish I did, because now I geek out on them. So I just wanted to show on our website, on the top of our website, you'll see a little button that says support. And once you pull down that tab for support, once you click on it or hover over it, the first option is safety data sheets. So you can click into that, and it lists down all of our products that have chemicals in it that will have safety data sheets. So you can look up whichever chemical you want, and look for, if you want to see if it has phenol in it because you need to bleach something and you don't know what you've got on the shelf that can do it. This is one way to find out. So right there, phenol listed. This is Frigid cauterant. So yeah, it's great new material. You can put a spritz top on it as well if you've got large areas that you need to cauterize and lay down prep towel and spray. Again, just make sure you're putting plastic over top to contain the fumes. Make sure you're wearing your respirator. Everyone should be wearing the respirator, and safety gear. Frigid feature builder. So I think I brought it in. I use feature builder on almost everyone. I think especially in death, and people are laying on prep tables and gravity is affecting the body in different ways than when we stand up. We all have a little bit of restorative work that we can do with feature builder. So Frigid's feature builder, what I like about it is that it congeals fairly quickly, but it's not instantaneously. So as I'm injecting, I have split seconds to be able to move around and really shape the feature builder to how I want it to be. I have other presentations that I do purely on feature builder, so I won't go super deep today. But essentially, feature builder is great for recreating that muscle and fat pad shapes in the face that death and gravity has altered. So again, people are laying on the table, so their fat pads and muscles are being pulled this way, which is different than how we recognize them standing up. And as long as most of us are not stalking people as they sleep and watching them how they lay down, we know people standing up in front of us. So that is how we expect to recognize that person in the casket. This comes into effect especially with elderly decedents. We've got the jowls we need to recreate. We have to be mindful that the fat pads and muscle of our face from when we were young are very different when we're older because they atrophy, they shrink, they move away, and we've got those different areas to be mindful of. So when we're injecting, we need to consider, you know, how deep are we injecting, at what angle, what amount, etc. We also can use it to, you know, build up areas that maybe have been distorted by disease or cancers, especially severely emaciated decedents. Although if we are able to embalm those types of decedents, I would recommend tissue aid first being put into your arterial tank or as a supplemental fluid to try and build out those areas first that way before using feature builder. But absolutely you can use that as well afterwards. Now, some of these items are included in our Frigid Cosmetic kit. If you were to buy the whole kit, I've got the case right behind me on the shelf. But some of these are not. So Tech Bond is included, Aranapa is included, the eyeshadow is included, the metal waxing instruments are included. This amazing, which I've used it behind me, but we've got essentially a tarp that goes around decedents while they're in the casket, so you can cosmetize and do any reconstructive work there without damaging maybe their clothes or the casket liner. The advantage to that, especially for myself, is if I have to do any major reconstructive work with silicone or waxing, I want to do it with them already dressed and in their place of rest, whether it's a casket or tabletop, etc. And I always am very, very messy. And so we came up with this, I can show it here, cape. It's extremely horizontal, so it can go over the side of the casket, or if you are in a part of the world where you use coffins and you have to worry about liner on both sides, it will drape over both sides and protect the casket from any makeup or maybe any glue or wax, etc. We also have the cosmetic starter kits, which are smaller and they have more limited materials in them as well, but we still got those basic items for you. And you can always buy everything a la carte on our website as well. So if you're like, hey, I just want the metal waxing instruments, or I just want the brushes, or I just want the Tech Bond, you can go ahead and order everything individually as well. So yeah, the starter kit comes in 2 different variations. I think I got pictures. Yep, we've got the dark tones kit and the light tones kit, but that is just to go over those 4 foundation colors that are included. Our foundation colors, although I didn't talk about them here in this presentation because this is mostly restorative stuff, I will show you. They're really nice and creamy. They're made for both embalmed and unembalmed skin because everyone should have dignity in death and look their best when families see them to say goodbye. So we made sure that it is very nice and translucent, but you can also build it up opaquely if you need to do some heavier coverage. It works well with the airbrush, works hand in hand. So yeah. That is it for today's presentation. There is my contact information for you there. Feel free to email me. I know it's not in this one, but I do have cosmetic samples. So if you want samples of the cosmetic line, shoot me an email and I can send these out to you in the mail. I've got a batch going out today, actually, to some people. My contact is also there for Instagram and social media. And I will be at NFTA's Professional Women Conference this year, May 8th. And let's see what else is on the screen. Oh, the continuing ed information. If you needed the hour of continuing education, there's the provider number as well as the event number and how to put it in to get your time. And we did not put it on the screen. I apologize. But again, if you like what you saw and are curious to try any of our cosmetic line, you can order online and use the code. What's the code, Chris? Okay, our code is restoration 2026 with a capital R. So capital R, ESTORATION 2026 in order to get that discount. And that discount is only good for 24 hours. So you just got to jump on it. If you have any questions, yeah, and it's website only. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. I'll be watching my email today. So if you guys, quick want to ask me some questions before making a commitment to purchase something, I am here for you. Chris, do we have any questions right now? So Chris is going to add the link and the code into the chat for you guys now for the coupon credit. But were they asking about continuing education credit, Chris? So the continuing education is through the academy, so the APFSP. So you can go onto their website, and that is where you put in your time. It's only for people that need it for them. They might be working towards their CFSP, or your state might accept their continuing education credit. It's different for everywhere. Some states, if the academy accepts it, they'll accept it. But again, it's different for everyone. So this hour of continuing ed is just for the APFSP. Is there any additional prep that I do on unembalmed decedents for cosmetics or restoration, reconstruction? I could do a whole webinar on that. For unembalmed decedents, I will always make them look the best they can. I'm trying to think of some quick tips off the top of my head. One of them, our tissue builder, feature builder, does not have any preservative in it. It's just feature builder. So one thing that I do for unembalmed decedents, the eyes will often deflate. They kind of get sunken in. I will actually take my syringe and inject into the globe of the eye. Let me see if I have a point. So as medial as I can into the white of the eye. You never want to inject into the iris or anything. But inject into the white of the eye, feature builder, and essentially reinflate the eyeball. So that way when I close the eyes, they're the correct shape and they don't look sunken in. That's one little quick tip that I'll do. Cosmetically, I airbrush. I'll use our Dynair airbrush that we carry. If I need to do a light coloring, I also am mindful of where they might be seeing the decedent. If there's any lights that are either torchère lights or lights in the ceiling, that maybe I can control the coloring just to adjust the color a little bit. Especially if Palomars really drain them of color. But I also could just use our cream cosmetics. Like I mentioned, we've got a whole line of different cream cosmetics, and they work on unembalmed skin just like they do embalmed skin. And that was something I was adamant about us figuring out, because all the other mortuary cosmetics out there right now are actually based off stage makeup, and so they're very thick and cakey, and especially on unembalmed decedents, they don't work well. These are true cosmetics. I actually have had people purchase them for themselves. I just tell them don't double dip on your deceased individuals, but it is made for unembalmed skin as well as embalmed skin. Is very translucent and light, but you can build it up more opaquely. So I mean, I use these on unembalmed decedents as well as airbrush. It kind of depends on how much color I really need to put back into them. When it comes to waxing, I mix my wax with Vaseline so it will stick to the unembalmed skin a little bit better. And then, yeah, go ahead and use any color over top. I will say I have done full cranial reconstructions on unembalmed decedents. It is 100% doable. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. It is messier. And if there's one thing that you can do just to make it easier on you, it's because of all the blood, is I have had some families sign off on just me using cauterant. So just using Frigid's cauterant. I'm not using embalming chemicals or preservatives. I'm not using anything else but Frigid cauterant. I have had families sign off on disclosure saying that's fine, and it's made it a lot easier. And then that's when I'll put a spritz top on the Frigid cauterant and just spray all the areas inside the soft tissue of the cranium or the skull and go to work from there. But yeah, there's 1,000 things I could tell you from embalmed. Everyone deserves dignity in death, no matter what. I hope that answers your question a little bit. Chris, are there any more? The event number, it's 213-501-486. You guys can take a picture of the screen if you want, because it will show you the provider number and the event number and the course name. Okay. I don't know if there's any more questions, but just reminding you guys again, like and subscribe to the Frigid channel. This is where you guys can have access to all these videos again and watch this over again if you forgot something or had to dash out of the room really quick and miss maybe part of it. And then again, that discount code for ordering online for the next 24 hours for any of the cosmetic materials on Frigid's website is restoration with a capital R, followed by 2026. Okay, that's it, everyone, for today. Thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy day. I know Tuesdays can be wild. And thank you for joining us. And if you have any other questions, reach out to me or reach out to anyone at Frigid. Our gals in the office are fantastic. If you've got questions, call them up. We're all here to help you as best we can. But thank you guys. Have a great day today.